ever talked about or mentioned, or I know I've mentioned it, but I've never actually done a video on just how hard it is to find a job when you're 16. So remember, I turned 16, and the first thing I did was try to line up a list of references for people to call, and I started applying for jobs. I'd apply. So my dream job was the golf course, which I didn't get on at until a couple of years later. But I tried different places. I never tried fast food because, I don't know, I guess I wanted to work but didn't want to work that bad. I guess that was my reasoning. And knowing what I know now, like back then, I was as hopeful as can be. Yes, I'm 16, I'm old enough to work. That means they'll want me. No, not really. Because that means you're old enough for an entry-level job, but you're up against people that could be 19 or 20 that already have experience. They already got experience. They're going to be the ones that get hired. Period. This is how it works. They're not necessarily going to be like, oh, you're old enough to work and you've never worked a job. I can't wait to hire you. Another thing that the drawback to being 16 is there were limits on the amount of time you could work. And they're going to be like, well, I could hire this 18-year-old who's out of high school who can work 39 and a half hours a week, or I can hire this 16-year-old that can only work after 3, can't work past 9, and can only get long shifts on the weekends. So they really had to want you, is what that was. And another thing was, I'm 16. I was a 6'5", probably about 270 guy, heavy set, a lot of acne on my face. You got me or you got a hot girl. All things are equal. Neither of us have working experience. Who are you going to hire? And that's what I ran into. Because a lot of the golf course hired, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with hiring a girl instead of me. It just annoyed me because in the case of the golf course, I actually played golf. And a couple of girls they hired didn't play golf, which doesn't really matter because they hire you to work a job and they'll train you for said position. So it's not like it was a BFOQ for the job. But it was just so difficult, like the barriers to getting a position, because I'd fill out applications because this was still back when you could still do applications by hand. So you'd collect an application, fill it out, bring it back by, and hope for the best. And it never really panned out that well. There was always something going on, or I never heard back, or I'd apply online because, like I said before, what I know now, they really had to want to take a chance on you. They had to be like, well, let's just hire him. He's willing to work. We'll give him a shot. But in a lot of cases, they didn't. Your application would go in a large stack, and that large stack would often get thrown away, or your application would get lost. Stuff happened. And another comedian I really like, Chris Rock, he's dead on when he talked about dropping out of school in the 10th grade and being up against somebody that dropped out in the 2nd grade that had 8 years work experience. That's really what it was like. People already out of school could work, and I couldn't. And open availability trumped that desire or hope to work anywhere. And I never really gave up, but I didn't get, until I got hired at the grocery store. And the funny thing about that was I was there visiting a buddy, and I just applied for fun, and then they hired me. It was that simple. Because that's kind of the way life works, is when you're not expecting something and you don't care what happens, that's when good things happen. It's not when you're hopeful and trying or really wanted a job. Because I really believed they were going to hire me. It's like, I'm 16, y'all see me out here all the time. Or they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. They even called me one time on the golf course and said, more like lied. And there was the director of golf was a woman at the time. She said, the next person, like, you're next in line to get hired. Next time we hire somebody, it'll be you. Yeah, that was a lie. I never got hired. But it was tough out there. It really was. I still remained hopeful, but as I got older, like, rejection didn't bother me at 16 because I was like, I'm immune to it. I'm 16 and they'll hire me. Yeah, I was really wrong about that.